I'm Samantha. This is the channel Trying to Get By. If you've not been here before, welcome. And if you have, welcome back. Now, I don't normally do like product tests, but I got an email from AMZ Chef asking me if I would like to be sent a blender. And I was like, ooh, blender. And then I was a bit dubious at first because I don't want to just do reviews and be all, this is wonderful, this is amazing. So I messaged them back saying, do you want a sugar-coated review or do you want honesty, pros and cons? They were fully happy and eager for pros and cons because they said that any disadvantages I found would help them with future product development. So I thought that was pretty good. So they've sent me a blender. If you can look on here, so AMZ Chef, we have got the blender. And we say high power and stability, designed for heavy food loads, digital screen, low noise, easy to clean. Well, easy to clean is important because I've used blenders in the past that are an absolute pain. So I am excited to see if this actually is easy to clean. Now, I have unboxed it already. It is hidden behind here because I've got a bit of a dodgy shoulder, so I can't be pulling things out of boxes today. So big reveal. Ta-da! There we go. I'm just going to move this box to the side. So what we've got in the box, we basically have a lovely, this is not massively heavy, but reasonably heavy and sturdy with a digital display up here. We've got the start and stop function, a pulse function, a dial for speed, but it also has mini functions so that you can do specific things and it will just do it on a timer for you. So we've got ice cream, smoothie, ice crush, smoothie, ice cream and juice. Now the ice crush appeals to me because I think to myself, if it's got an ice crushing facility on it, then the blades are pretty sturdy to be able to crush ice. So the first job I'm going to do with it today is I'm going to go and see if I can get some walnuts chopped up for me. Normally I use my smoothie maker, which involves me grabbing hold of the smoothie maker and shaking it violently while I try and get all the nuts to fall down. So I'm hoping that this does a better job. So we've got in here, let me take the lid off, a nice secure lid. In here, you can see we've got 4 blades with quite a bit of serration on them as well, which my smoothie maker doesn't have. It's only got, there's 6 blades in here. There's 4 blades in my smoothie maker and my smoothie maker doesn't have the serration on them. So I'm hoping the serration will help with this. So I'm going to pop that on there. There we go. We've got the beep to say that we are locked and loaded. You do have what I like to call the pokey stick, which will fit into the hole if needed. We've got the lid as well, so if you want to pour into there. And this lid is nice and sturdy. Right, let's see how it does with these nuts. So I've got walnuts. This is to make walnut bread that I make for Chris, which he really enjoys. It's like a heart-healthy bread. So walnuts are really good at helping to lower cholesterol. Any recipes that I show you while I'm making this, if I've made them before, I will put a link in the description box below. So let's have a go at chopping these nuts. Right, so let's get some walnuts in here. I'm not going to put too many in to start with because I just want to see how it goes. Lid on. Oh, like I said, that lid is lovely and secure. And we are just going to start by turning the dial and see how it gets on. Well, that's a bit quicker than my normal. Let's have a look. Normally, my smoothie maker, I am there for absolutely ages, like I say, shaking it around. But look at that. That is brilliant. I am really impressed with that. So I'm going to decant these into a container just to get them to go away. And I'm going to pop these out to the side until I get ready to do the rest of what I'm going to make. But I've got other things I'm going to make later on today. So Chris is going to be popping off to work and I am going to do some more chopping and blending with this AMZ Chef. The next job I'm going to do is I am going to do some dates. These are dates that I got from a bread and butter thing haul that I got recently. And so not something I would normally buy, but I thought I could substitute the sugar for some dates and we could make some kind of date syrup or paste to use instead of sugar in the banana bread. So I'm going to put all the dates in there. Whoop. I know I'm going to need some water, so I'm just going to put a splash of water into a container that I can then pour some in. There's probably just shy of 100 mils there. Pop the lid on, and I'm going to take this out because I want to make sure that I can add more water as I'm going along if needed. So let's get this going. Ooh. Hold this down because it's quite jumpy. There we go. Okay, I had to pour some extra water in there, and let's see how it has done. I don't know whether, oh, it's not too bad. So there's obviously there were no stones in here, and I had to adjust not the volume, it feels like I'm adjusting the volume. I had to adjust the strength of the speed that we were doing. Let's just get a spoon and see how well it has done. There we go. Still got some consistency to it. I don't think we're going to get a complete puree in there that's completely smooth. I'm going to push it down a little bit, and I'm just going to go for another 30 seconds to see how it does. Okay, let's see. 30 seconds. Right, not quite 30 seconds, did 19 seconds there. If you notice the timer on the front down there, you can see that, can't you, there? And I don't think it's suitable for a small quantity of dates. I think I would have to do a bigger quantity of date to make it work more efficiently and effectively, but it is good enough for what I need it to do. So I'm going to see if I can scrape this now. So I'm going to use a spatula this time to scrape out what we've got into my little container. Oh, there we go. Let's see what we can pour out first. I think we're going to have to give that a little hand to get out. There we go. I think it's possibly easier for me to scoop it out than try and pour it out. Right. So the next test I'm going to do is I've got some bananas that need to be done for my banana bread, which is what my dates are going to go into as well. I always think with any kind of blender, particularly if you're using something thick, it's always hard to get that last bit out of the bottom. So let's see how much we can actually get out. So this spatula is probably the best one to use. It's quite a small one. Okay. I just got to angle it round and make sure the blades are out of the way. Okay. Also depends on how patient you are. I mean, how would you keep going? There's a little bit around there. I'm going to keep going just for a little second to see if I can get that last little bit out. Okay, that'll do. So we've got our date paste again for later. Banana bread recipe I will pop in the description box. It has, clearly as you can see, made quite a bit of mess because it was spraying up once the water was added into the lid. So let's get these bananas next. Right, next job, bananas. These are still partially frozen because that's where I store my bananas for my banana bread. So I'm just going to squeeze those into there. So if it can crush ice, I'm sure that it can cope with some slightly frozen bananas. So let's get those in. I am going to put some milk in with them because there's milk in my banana bread recipe as well. So I might as well put it in now to give it a little bit of more lubrication to get it going. So that's 5 bananas in there. The recipe I'm making is 1/4 cup of milk, but I'm doubling the recipe. So we're going to put 1/2 cup of milk in there as well. There we go. Lid on. Little cap on. And I'm going to put it on the smoothie function. And just leave it to do its thing. Now, what you're meant to do is just press it and it will start. And it's a 55 seconds. Right, I've just turned it off because I think that is absolutely done. Let's have a look inside. That looks as smooth as anything. That's probably scooped up some of the bits of the date that was in the bottom and possibly even a little bit of the walnut that was in the bottom. So that can all go in. So that is ready for my banana bread recipe. And then the big challenge, giving it a wash. In the instruction pack, it says to wash the blades. So you can see down there, I'm just going to give all that a wash. It says put in 1/2 litre of water, and you can see where the measurements are on the side, which is useful. You can see there are measurement scales, which are helpful. So we're going to do that, pop our little lid on, and just turn it on for a few seconds. Okay, that was barely 15 seconds. Let's pour that water out. Have a look down the bottom. I'm saying that looks pretty clean to me. All I've got to do now is just give it a wash in some warm, slightly soapy water. I will say in the instructions, it does say none of the components are dishwasher safe, which is a little disappointing because I like to be able to throw things in the dishwasher if needed. But hopefully, now that I've washed the blades down the bottom, the sides are not going to be that tricky to do. And to be honest, at this moment in time, I've got quite a bit of washing up to do anyway, because I have made the walnut loaf, I have made some fake sandwich meat, and I'm starting on the banana bread. So I'm going to finish making the banana bread and then give everything a wash all together. So most of the washing up's over there. I've got some warm soapy water here. I'm going to wash the blender pieces first. Now, we didn't use the stick, but it ended up getting a bit mucky because I popped it on the side into something. So that's just a quick wipe. Pop that on there. The lid, easy enough. Take the first section off, give it a swish. Yep, that's fine. Again, the next section is the lid. I'm just going to give that a swish to start with. And then have a look. Just go in with a cloth. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that's easy enough. Now the main section, I was worried that this was going to be one of the hardest things to clean, but after having done the blades with the water, I don't think we're going to have much problem. I'm just going to put some liquid in there first and carefully, obviously, blades, just give it a bit of a rinse to get any other bits out. Pour that away and then just give it a clean. This seems easy enough. There's nothing too onerous in there. Obviously, like I said, careful of your fingers, please. Oh, now there's a little bit just down the bottom. So I'm not going to go in with my fingers without being covered. Right in there. Give that a shake and a swish. That's all nice and clean. That is pretty good. I have to say, I have had blenders in the past that I have used that have got really lots of ridges on the side, and it becomes an absolute nightmare to scrape and to clean. And this one is nice and smooth around. It's got some bumps, you know, for the side, like these sections here, but it's quite smooth inside to wipe and to be able to get into every part. So that's that. I'm going to pop that upside down and give that a drain. I'm going to get on with the rest of the washing up and see if that's as easy to clean. Actually, my food processor that I use to make my sandwich meat, that is probably worse to clean because it collects all around the bottom and it collects all inside the blade, which is a bit of a pain. So blender's much easier. I wonder if I could make my sauce. No, I don't think I could make my sandwich meat in there because it needs to be more kneaded than blended. We'd probably ended up with a blended mess, but this is going to be a bit more of a nightmare to clean, which I didn't expect. So there we go. We have banana loaf and walnut loaves made with the aid of the mixer. They look pretty good. I'm quite happy with the consistency of those, and the walnuts are mixed really well throughout because they were chopped up beautifully. So we've used the AMZ Chef for a few different things. I've shown you in the video what I've used it for. I've also used it for blending some pumpkin that I had out of the freezer that I'd slightly defrosted, ready to make some pumpkin loaves and also some pumpkin soup, and it worked really, really well for that. I did it on the smoothie function for that one, and what it does when it's on the smoothie function is it will blend for a little while, pause, let everything sink back down and then start reblending again, which I think is a really cool function, because otherwise sometimes you find with blenders, it just sends everything up the side of the blender and then things get missed. I find that when I've been working at the nursery I work at and we blend soup, it doesn't all end up getting blended properly. So I'm really enjoying this. I really appreciate AMZ Chef sending it to me. And I'm going to give it a score. I'm going to say a 4.5 stars out of 5. The couple of things that niggled me slightly was, even though it says it is a low noise machine, I still found it quite loud personally. And the other thing was, and I suppose you noticed as well when I was doing some of the blending, that it started to kind of lift a little bit out of its base. So I had to put my hand on it to kind of hold it in space because it kind of wobbled. I think maybe some kind of locking mechanism just to hold it down would be quite useful. Other than that, this is brilliant. If you want to take a look at AMZ Chef's range, I've put a link in the description box below, and they were very generous to give me a discount. So if you follow the link, you can get about, I think it's about a 30% discount off the AMZ Chef products. So that's really, really good. Like I said at the beginning, I don't do reviews of products just for the sake of them. If someone's going to send me something, you're going to get an honest answer from me. So my honest answer is 4.5 stars out of 5. I think they did pretty good.